now, as the government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna Aning is calling for a second look at economic policies as the country examines the phenomenon of many Ghanaians traveling to other countries in search of jobs through unapproved routes. Now, his call follows a revelation on the 2019 recruitment cost survey conducted by the Statistical Service and the International Labour Organization, which indicates that about 25% of people who leave the shores of the country through unapproved routes don't get to their destinations. Now, the survey, which was conducted last year, 2019, was a pilot project for two regions, thus the Ashanti and the Bonahafo region. Now, the report also shows that it takes 2 months for recruits to pay back the cost of getting employed. Let's listen to the government statistician, Professor Samuel Kobna Aning.
Again, so the indicator 24.7 is for Ghanaian migrants who travel through unapproved routes. And this is not to say that they do not make it to their country of destination. They travel through unapproved routes. And I linked it to the indicator on people who travel and die in the process or disappear in the process. So the recommendation is that we need to get a better understanding of what happens to those who travel through unapproved routes. From my point of view, the first port of call is to think about what is making them travel through these unapproved routes and what are the risks associated with that and whether we would want to entertain that, rather than making a case whether we should put a ban on or constraint on the number of people who travel or otherwise. So this is what we said earlier on. The whole target is about a well-planned and a well-managed policy on migration. So we need to go back to the policy and see how these policies makes reference to these findings that we are getting.
Now, here's a project coordinator giving us a highlight of the report.
We realized that the migrant workers in the Oceania region incur higher recruitment costs and earn more income, and this was followed by those in America. We also realized that workers in ECOWAS relatively spend less to get a job, and I think that is quite obvious, because traveling to the ECOWAS sub-region from Ghana, we can tell that, of course, the recruitment costs will not be the same as those traveling outside the sub-region, the ECOWAS sub-region. Now I want to look at the recruitment cost indicator. That's the indicator that we actually measured. We realized that the recruitment cost indicator, which is the proportion of the recruitment cost to the employment earnings, on the average, it takes fewer months, that is 1.7 months, for high-skilled migrant workers to recover the cost of recruitment than the low-skilled workers. And so, comparing those with the highly skilled migrant workers with the low-skilled migrant workers, it takes much fewer months in relation to the high-skilled migrant workers. Then, in terms of the sex desegregation, male-skilled migrant workers are likely to pay back recruitment costs earlier than female counterparts, because it takes them fewer months. Then, looking at the recruitment cost indicator within the major occupation, we realize that the recruitment cost, the overall recruitment cost, was actually 2.0, which means that on the average or per the study, it would take a Ghanaian migrant worker 2 months to pay back the loan that he or she, the recruitment cost, that he or she incurred as far in searching job abroad. And so it's going to take that person 2 months to pay back the recruitment costs. Now, in terms of the high skill, the broad skill level, at the high skill level, it is lower, which is 1.7 compared to the low skill level. And this also is true in the sense that the low skilled migrant workers from previous surveys incur a much higher cost compared to their highly skilled counterparts.